boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's a Subexo reaction video, and I have a special guest here. Guess who I have?
It's JFBonken. We're here today. I don't have nothing to plug. Eat barbell protein bars, cookies and cream one. Uh, we're here to watch Simone the Digger get neg diff.
Uh, that uh, yeah, sure. It's gonna be quite the opposite, but don't worry. First and foremost, what are your predictions for what's gonna happen in this fight? Because you've already admitted who you're rooting for by that fucking first sentence, you bum. But
Okay, so here's the issue. I'm rooting for both. I'm kind of rooting for Kyle a little bit more right now because he seems to be the real underdog in the community. You know, that's the main reason why I'm kind of rooting for him a little more right now. But I feel like if either one wins and they give a good enough explanation, I'll be happy. I just think it feels like Kyle has everything against him, so he's an underdog. Um, as for who actually wins in my predictions, I think I do have Kyle still. I feel like this whole community and seeing this whole debate go down this past like month or so has been crazy, and I've really been convinced of like certain arguments for Simone, but it also feels like neither of them can really die, at least not to each other.
yeah,
You know?
I just think that like it just comes down to what you believe in, and at that point, like it really is just like 50-50, and no matter who they make win, no one's gonna be happy. But also,
No.
we must keep the agenda alive. All right, so I'm going Simone. First and foremost, we already did a debate on this. I fucking hated it. I had to explain. Wait, let me pull out. Let me pull out the chart. Dude, this is freaking stupid.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I've been wanting this ever since I've watched Gurren Lagann, and dude, I still want my hope is that they have like the team fight where like I don't know, Team Daiguren versus like each respective Lantern Corps. That'd be like actually insane because I've never seen
That would be pretty cool.
because what's we both watched the preview. I've never seen Kyle do that rainbow form, so that's what I'm thinking.
No.
So any last words before we jump in?
I hope the next time is Luzanne.
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be, bruh. Oh my god. Oh, dude, and it's gonna be 90%.
Simone the Digger, Kyle Rayner,
That
the
is so
White
cool.
Lantern. Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
I
And
shall
it's
turn
our
off
job to
captions.
analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who
Dude,
will
him
win
playing
Yeah,
his
probably
bar
should,
is
our
so
death battle.
cool.
I know. Oh, he was spinning the glasses, man. That's cool.
Underground,
He was.
Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the
Dude.
hero of our story comes in. The young man who would
Gurren
lead
Lagann
his
is such a
comrades
charming
into the
series,
sunlight
man.
at last.
Such a good show,
Kamina,
man.
the great and mighty.
I also watched
Oh, and
it
his little
just in
brother from another
anticipation for
mother,
this match like
Simone. He was
3
there
years
too,
ago.
I guess.
Simon was
Mhm.
a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named.
It's a
Lagann.
mangaka in another
Under his
universe, so they are using it.
magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina
That's
finally
scary.
drilled their way to
They
freedom,
are using
seeing the
this.
sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the
audiobooks.
limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the
Dude,
Earth
that
for
sword scene
humanity,
is so funny.
scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly
I'm
bond,
kind of
Gurren
scared
and
'cause, like,
Lagann
how
merge,
can they, like,
creating Gurren Lagann.
With
reach
Kamina
the
piloting
scale
body and
that I
Simone
hope they
ahead,
reach
these two were
in like 3 or so minutes, because
Of all the
I'm not
giant
assuming this is like
fighting
Bowser
robots
segment
in
where it's
all
like
the
5.
enemies across history,
I know,
Gurren
yeah.
Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's
I feel like,
willpower and capable of
besides
making
that,
any weapon they can
It only
imagine.
was 5 minutes long
including
because
missiles,
Mario like
a jetpack,
loves that
a
matchup.
sunglasses boomerang,
Yeah,
and
bruh.
of course,
Drills!
That's not something you can just do, like, every
Shield
episode.
drills, Kamehameha drills,
got a budget
and
to uphold.
everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something my whole personality.
Dude,
With Gurren Lagan's awesome power,
I think
Kamina
I've said
laid
this
waste to
already
enemy
when we had
forces,
that call.
liberated human villages, and
Gurren
fomented a
Lagann is just so
rebellion
cool
against
because
the
it's actually
Beastmen King,
based in
Lord
like
Juno.
real life math.
Kamina died.
Yeah.
Oh wait, shit. Was
Like,
that supposed to happen?
I've already
Nope,
explained
and
like
it
the
was all
Fibonacci sequence, the
Simon's
mathematical
fault. He
thing
let his
that
willpower
nature
waver,
uses
and
to
his
create
soul
a
brother paid
spiral,
the price.
like with
After
pine
all,
cones.
he was just a
And
humble
our
digger,
DNA
at
is a
home in the
spiral, so they
darkness,
took
guided
that
solely
idea
by the
and put
light
it as
of
like a
Kamina's
power
spirit.
source as
So
will.
his
Like
big
that's so
brother
Yeah.
cool.
left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the
Dude,
one looking up to
Kamina's
him the
so
whole
crazy.
time. It was Simone who
Oh, yeah,
found
'cause he-
Lagan.
I
Simone
don't know,
who pierced the
so
surface,
early
and
that
Simone
like
who
a
would now
goated character
lead
would die, like they did not
humanity
give a
to
fuck.
victory.
Especially with his
I
gal
know, he was
pal
so
Nia
cool.
at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral
I like how they have to
attack.
skip so much in the
Unimaginably
middle there
powerful
because of
godlike
Yeah.
humans, the anti-spiral feared humanity's
They skip, like, everything
potential,
reverse
what
you.
they dubbed the
Pretty much.
Spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting
Or at least to
spirit?
me, it's just like, yeah, so killed Lord Genome, and oh, but 7 years anyways, so anti-spiral.
Turns out that's just
Okay,
a
I will say-
manifestation of
I get that it's really hard to do like a whole story for characters like that, but I kind of wish we got a little more, you know, like at least some of the stuff about what was going on Earth before Anti-Spiral like really attacked.
Probably. I wish they could, or they could have. Honestly, we'll see. With
We'll
the-
see.
we'll
Maybe
see.
maybe it'll get into it a little
spiral
bit.
power. An
Endless obsession and madness. The spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity.
JoJo!
The perfect representation of
Oh my God.
humanity's evolutionary potential.
potential Simone would use as
Hey.
he led Team Dai
You don't mean
Gurren
that.
across the multiverse to take the
I know.
fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren
Are
Lagann
they gonna
gets
explain dimensional
crazy.
whave?
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly
They're gonna
adapt
have to.
threats,
They have
no
to.
matter how overwhelming.
12.3.
Simone can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy
That's right,
attacks,
Boomstick.
and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Drill size the observable universe. Mech size the observable universe. Okay.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time
Oh, shit.
physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
Is that the new largest number?
Holy shit!
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned.
Oh my
The
God.
guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was
Yep, Gurren Lagann, an alternate Lord Genome seemingly manipulated 20-dimensional space, but in this translation error, there's more like referring to 2 full dimensions.
11-dimensional, meaning
So
Simone
they're not gonna give
absorbed
him
a
20
higher
dimensional.
dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically
Oh, there it
infinite.
is.
Each
Oh,
new
there it
dimension
is.
adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in
Infinite.
size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a 2-dimensional drawing interacting with a 3-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like, shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Oh
Simone's
my
power was
God.
so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simone turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs
Jesus
Cobra,
Christ.
Is it
he
Kyle
can
over?
also regenerate any damage
It might
done to
be
him
Kyle
or
over.
his mech just
Oh
by
my
willing
God.
it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Wait, Simone stated in interviews and directly shown to be capable of the strongest power. Okay.
Information in physics is essentially the ones
Yeah.
and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Topa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill
Dude, I love
somehow
that they
even
keep
larger
adding
than that,
adjectives. They
Simone
really
and his
gotta keep
friends
doing that.
Shattered the anti-spiral
Yeah.
once and for all.
Hey,
Super
cruel
duper pooper
indifference of the
scooper.
universe.
Tengen
Meet
Toppa
the
Gurren Lagann.
indomitable human spirit.
Proving Commonest words prophetic. That Simone's drill is the drill that would
Dude became the Simone that believed in him.
pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
I wish they mentioned how, or
The
what
unit.
Anti-Spiral's like goal was. You know.
I do agree, because the
I
Spiral
think-
Nemesis is like an important thing in terms of like,
Yeah.
you know, some people were really weird about it though. I've read like people like it's like that's like a limiter thing. Like I don't think it's a limiter. That's like more of like, oh yeah, Darkseid is so strong. The literal like multiverse cannot take it. I don't think it's not like, oh
Yeah.
if they get that strong, that's their peak. Like I don't think that's what that means.
No. That wasn't the point. No.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more lore, but I think they just gave it to introducing the side stories and like dimensional whatever, which
Yeah.
is fair.
Yeah.
Well, time to watch whatchamacallit, a Kyle Rayner introduction where we do not talk about Kyle Rayner, we talk about every other Lantern that did the OP feat, but he can
Earth
scale.
is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire,
Can I
alien
just say I
dictators, or this
love
one really pissed off cat,
that they
you know
start
who to
off
call.
both
The
analysis
Green
with
Lantern Corps.
their
They're
mentor.
The Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions
they're,
of
like, the
years
main
ago
one.
by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him.
God
but
damn
you
it.
gotta respect the man with a
There's
will
gotta
as
be a green
unbreakable
boot.
as Hal's.
Until the day his will
There's gotta be.
broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core.
There's not a
killing
green boot, I
everyone in
riot.
his path,
I had
and
to suffer
absorbed
that
the
episode.
Central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
I will say
There was
Ganthet is
only
more of a
one
mentor to
survivor
Kyle
of
than Hal is,
Parallax's
but it's still a
killing
cool
spree.
like analysis to start with
And with what remained
Yeah.
of his strength, he
Hal
gave
and
the
Kamina.
last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous.
Dude, he looks so happy, like with the. Oh, cool! You're like my Zen master. That's really. I don't know, really cool. He likes Asian movies. I wonder where that's gonna come
Magical
in.
weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey,
You think-
if
you think it's gonna
Colonel
be-
Yeah, I
Sanders,
mentioned
Daffy
Bridges
Duck,
somewhere.
Space Wheat, and a sentient
No,
fox
legit.
can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring
Oh my
speeds that are not only
God.
faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates
can't-
just as
I
fast.
can't for like a
automatically
common
protecting
person
its
to like
user
watch
from
this episode
danger.
and
Like
not
the
understand a
time that
single.
Boozer Kilowog survived being erased from
word.
existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The
Yeah,
ring
this is
fueled
kinda
by its
absurd.
users' willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
To
Hey.
make them strong enough to lift
Hey.
the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang.
Oh
Wait,
my God.
point 3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24
After
hours.
relinquishing the power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have emergency reserve backup power. It will never fully run out, and even if it cannot maintain it.
Or
Okay.
needing a recharge.
So it can blow
That's
up
cool.
universes, but it has
Yeah, I'm glad that, dude, every comic character just has, like, oh yeah, they have this one weakness. They definitely do. Okay, but now we're gonna have a story where they, like, beat that weakness, but, like, they used to have it, though. But actually, we're gonna reboot the whole thing, and now they have that weakness again. Like, bro, which is it, bro?
the battery of an iPhone.
Superman just kinda ignoring
Never
kryptonite
mind,
sometimes.
That's the stupidest thing I've
Bro.
ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness
Bringing up the
was
dark side shit.
Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's
My
self-doubt.
favorite.
Any reflection came too
Oh,
late,
God.
though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered
Oh,
his girlfriend,
my.
Alex, and put
Oh,
her body
shoot,
in
they're
a
doing it.
fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got
That's crazy.
serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional
Yo.
electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear.
Yeah, and he gets every single one. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
manipulation.
Yeah, how ironic that, like, soul manipulation is, like, the one thing I heard was, like, oh, well, that actually has never been, like, against, like, Simone. That could work if he used it.
Lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the
To be fair, the
stronger
way
he
Death Battle
becomes.
works, they assume you're gonna use everything at least like once, and they're going to give you like max power. So, I think they're definitely gonna assume there's a scenario where Kyle can use it. You know.
I will say, I think there is a scenario where he would use it. I just think that, like, Simone is more likely to use, like, his best shit first than random soul
yeah.
manipulation power number 11.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, they can.
Oh, life equation's there.
Welp, I did not read that.
Orange light is fueled by
It's Simone over.
bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within.
Wait, JFBonken, I'm getting a little bit of a tangle with how they're introducing each respective Lantern Corps.
The final one.
Because they're showing off each.
So,
Because remember that thing I texted you about like
Oh yeah,
each
yeah,
member? This is literally each member that I said in that text.
yeah.
It's Indigo. It's Carol
And
Ferris.
letting him open.
Light of love.
He might show
With
up.
it, he can trap
I
enemies
don't
within
know.
crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle
Bruh.
instantly heal all
He even created a central power battery contains enough power to create and destroy an entire. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Oh.
wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Oh,
Okay, so
brother,
it-
bro. Kyle has
Oh,
held his
shit.
own against Parallax, Green Lantern, fought the Time Trapper, Spectre, the Anti-Monitor. Oh my
It's
god.
not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
Dude, they might go
He
for a tie.
struggled to control it.
No, dude, they can't go for a
Oh.
tie, bro. They cannot go for a tie. Oh, are they giving him the weakness?
Fact that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his
Damn.
whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
That was nice.
Well,
Was
Someone
taken
got that.
off YouTube.
oh, wait, I kind of want to watch.
Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.
Oh, well, there you go. Go to their website, please.
All right.
And now I'm afraid. 'Cause-
I feel like I don't know, because they got a lot of similar stuff, but only Kyle really got like a weakness, you know?
yeah, that he can't really like fully control it, even though he can sort of like use it.
Yeah. At the same time, they also kind of counter every other ability basically. So I don't know. I think just going off that their analysis and nothing else, I feel like they basically gave the same runarounds for both characters, but only Kyle really got weaknesses and like not downplay, but just weaknesses in general, you know?
Yeah, I think it's so weird because I don't know, like I don't know. I'm just gonna go. Fuck it, this is all fun at the end of the day. Let's just go Simone. Where were you?
I think
where
I'll
you
still hold
lying?
Kyle. I'll still go Kyle, but I think just for this episode, Simone's gonna win. I think.
The combatants are set, and we've run
No
the data
weaknesses
through
in
all
general,
possibilities.
you know.
It's
Uh.
time for a death battle!
Dude, I need to get that DS game.
It looks really cool.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Hey, dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic
Super weapon.
whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Damn, solo Balrog. See how many references they'll pack with Kyle.
I'm told I'm
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Tell me about it. 4.
Oh my god. Oh. Well, this is going up in skill real fast.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Maestro will pierce the heavens.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
That was fast.
Honestly, I don't. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
That's really cool. I'm a
Lantern. We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know.
Dude, I don't even mind that it's this quick, to be honest. Like, holy shit. They're going to the
Oh
source wall?
shit.
The digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll
Dude, he could
Gonna
have
be
broken the
the
wall.
To the other side.
stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
Yo.
Dude.
super taking Super Gurren Lagann. My drill is the
Dude. Oh, that's so cool.
Dude, what are the probabilities around them? What is this guy about to do? Oh my god! Yo,
Dude.
they did the shot! They did the anti-spiral shot.
The super weapon.
Dude.
They're gonna fist fight.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Dude.
Yo, yo, they're doing the shot that I said.
Yo.
They're doing the shot that I said. They're doing the shot that I said. The ring versus the.
Let's see you grit those teeth.
Yo,
Dude.
no.
That's crazy.
You'd make a good lantern.
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
That's crazy.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
That's crazy.
Yo, it happened.
Dude, I know that subreddit's going crazy right now.
Oh my god, it happened. This is
Dude,
not
we lost
going...
another Hispanic.
I feel like George Bush right now.
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses.
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle.
Thank
their
you, bro.
imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything
Kyle
the
was
other
way more
could,
versatile,
like absorbing each
technically.
other's attacks,
Yeah.
fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't.
Kyle struggled to a race aberration who destabilized the natural laws of the universe after a long time in comparison to the anti-Spiral who had complete control over the laws of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet Nia could not be erased from existence.
Countered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's
But how could they explain how they could be killed? That's my thing.
Though again, nothing
Yeah.
Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale.
Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter the hypothetical source wall imprisonment, and in a similar manner to the multiversal labyrinth, similar DC characters with similar abilities like Spectre, Superman, and Barry Allen have escaped the source wall in the
With our
past.
willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power
Okay.
can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily
Both series could potentially have larger scopes to their cosmologies, but most interpretations would favor the DC multiverse. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that goes against the G1 Death blog, because everyone was like, oh, they lowered it, and yeah.
mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing
Wait, that's funny, I just want to...
level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for,
damn.
it's that they can
guess
always
I
get
lost.
stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
Oh. But the anti-spiral had regeneration comparable to the spiral users, but Simone overcame them, so he can do the same against Kyle's healing and resurrection abilities, including those that work on a non-corporeal
Especially
level.
since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at.
Kyle could theoretically maintain a charge by fueling his energy ring with the hope in life. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. However, even as a White Lantern, his ring has been overtaxed and nullified, such as Dr. Manhattan. Holy crap.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation.
I was saying he's on par with that.
It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset.
Yep, there it is.
Forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality.
Dude, this is so much information. Holy shit. Kyle kept the life equation in the what-if scenario, New Guardians Futures End, and in it, he is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. The canon Kyle saw this future, hence why he relinquished the equation. This book also established that those with high willpower are resistant to the life equation's effects, such as, I'm not even going to say his name.
And himself.
Compare that to Simone.
I guess.
Him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is...
Wait, what the... Okay, two things. one, in the music I hear Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna, like for some reason, and then two, um, honestly, that's how I kind of felt, 'cause like
Hmm.
even though we keep like quantifying like who's stronger, like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to me. And if we try to go to that like argument, like Simone does just like, you know, evolve, do the
Yeah.
impossible, see the invisible, roar, fight the power. But
I think I think the only thing to really mention with this is that while it's definitely true that Simone does have a greater, I think we're talking about that Simone does have a greater rate of adaptation and he just evolves fast enough. I don't know if he could evolve past the White Lantern for me personally, you know?
mm,
At least if you give White Lantern more like infinite dimensional scaling. Um, at that point it's like maybe, and like Simone works on infinites too, don't get me wrong, but it just feels kind of like I don't know if he could really close that gap, you know?
I guess with how I think the multiversal labyrinth was like the big thing, because like since they included that, that kind of puts them on par with like the outer versal scale of like the new gods and shit like that. Since of like
I
that
just don't know
scaling.
if Simone could be outer-versal, you know? That's my thing.
God, I
I
hate these
think,
terms.
yep. I think okay. I think what it really depends on where Kyle scales in DC cosmology, because the higher ends of DC cosmology is way higher than like Gurren Lagann, obviously, right?
Mhm.
But I guess they just and they had the anti feats to back it up too, because that's the thing with Kyle. He has anti feats because he is such a long running character. Um, I guess he just doesn't scale high enough in DC's cosmology to say like Simone couldn't catch up fast enough, you know?
That's true.
Which I think is a fair argument. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not upset about that.
I feel I feel like I can't like disagree. Maybe I don't know. I think it's just like kind of crazy that it just finally happened. Like a non-Marvel character just beat a Herald. I don't know. Well,
Also,
damn.
let me just say though, I think one missed opportunity. They didn't play anything from Lever Me from Hell, bro. That's kind of sad.
No, legit. Like fair enough for saying it out loud, but if I'm trying to hear that opera, I'm trying to hear that.
Potential would shatter even this lantern's
Mhm.
light.
I hope
Dude, thank God they did the shot that I was imagining. Like it just ended up being like the Lantern versus the fucking
Kyle at least
mini
dug the fight,
keychain.
because when it
Yeah.
comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Holy crap! I can't even be
You
mad,
did it.
dude.
I'm not mad.
I will say the jump was so quick. Maybe that was due to time constraints, but like,
I mean, to be
holy
fair,
shit.
that's Gurren Lagann.
Fair enough. Any theories on this next one?
um, I'm feeling another anime matchup. Either that or Luzanne. It's gotta be Luzanne.
It's
Come
not
on, man.
Luzanne. But I think a cartoon matchup would be like a shoe-in. Well, where's our cartoons? Come on. That's what I'm here for.
Next time on Death Battle.
Let's get some cartoon matchups. Oh, yep.
Oh shit. Okay.
Dude, where the fuck has this been?
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle.
Dude, I know,
Thanks for
yeah.
watching.
Dude, where the fuck has
Kind of
this
crazy
been?
they've got fucking Kratos versus Ashura before this.
Yeah, I'll say we're we got like the one. Yeah, we got Simone versus Kyle before. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, I don't know who
Okay.
wins.
I don't know who wins. What I gotta say is, from what I've seen from some of the debates, like online and stuff, Wile E. Coyote does have like an item that allows him to like take away like toon powers, you know?
Oh shoot.
Um, yeah. But here's the thing about both characters that their items often backfire on each other. So it's like I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair personally, even though I want Tom to win. But I don't think it's fair to say like, oh yeah, because their items backfire, it's gonna backfire on him, and he's gonna lose because of that. I don't think
Yeah,
that's fair,
I
and I
think
don't
they're
think that's
both
really cool.
equally as bad with their arsenal. So I think just give them their bad luck as it is. But you know, they're still fighting at the end of the day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's more of a cool tidbit that they can use in the fight. than an actual like argument against him. I feel like.
But anyway, I think it definitely makes sense as to why Simone won. Just like the fact that Kyle does have weaknesses and he does have like self-doubt, where Simone, the whole point of his ending is that he just didn't have anything to lose, you know?
Yeah. No weakness, just because weakness doesn't mean anything if you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yo, I just gotta thank frickin' oh my god, I just gotta thank Death Battle for doing this matchup, and
That's funny. They also did the Omni-Man versus Bardock kill. Kind of.
oh my god. But don't mention that episode.
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
Dude, and he gets...
Dude, Simone as a Green Lantern is fucking crazy, though.
Yeah, because, putting Infinity on top of Infinity is really going to make it bigger, but, yeah, that was Simone versus Kyle. I would say, 9 out of 10 for me, too. I gotta rewatch a bit more, to be honest, but I'm just like, I just have a big smile on my face, man. Like, jeez. I honestly, I got what I wanted out of it, so
Yeah.
honestly, I'll just say goodbye here to the SubXO fans, but stay tuned, by the way, because we may or may not have a video coming to you live soon enough. Trust me, I'll edit
Yep.
them. It just takes me so long.
Hey, you're busy.
Don't worry. Once May ends, I'll lock in. More streams, more doohickeys, more fun moments, more hype auras. Just like these two. Any goodbyes, JFBonken?
Spawn still beats Simone.
Yeah, you can go kill yourself.